Well, we do have Shehu Mahdi, a human rights activist, joining us this morning to give his perspective on the security situation going on in different parts of the country. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, the Senate, apparently, they're also mindful of the situation in Katsina State as well. So do you think that this motion that the Senate has moved about the service chiefs, even though the presidency has said the president will do what he has to do, it is his call, how should we approach this? Are these concerns not worthy of note in your perspective?
Well, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. For my non-Arabic speaking viewers and my non-Muslim brothers and sisters, this simple Arabic incantation, if translated simply, means I was begging, urging, and beseeching God Almighty to protect us from Satan that occurs. And I think there is no better time to start a prayer than this time when everybody seems to be on his own, everybody for himself, God for us all, and survival of the fittest. Unfortunately, in a democracy like ours, the National Assembly have extreme limitation. The executive power, absolute power, is vested in the office of the president. And with such a power in his office, he can do as his wish. They can only express their own views, pass in emotion, go into debates. At the end of the day, it may end up being an inordinate silence, unfortunately.
So where you sit as an individual and with all the issues that are going on in that part of the country at this moment, a number of people have also continued to cite the fact that there are soldiers there that have been complaining, and some of them allegedly have resigned. What for you strikes you the most about this whole thing, especially the human rights component for those soldiers in particular? And how do you think the army, if at all, should approach this matter?
If the resignation is, as being reported, is true, it means they are people of conscience. You know, when it comes to taking decisions, people ask various questions. Like, for instance, when a banker is taking a decision, his ultimate final question is, will I make a profit out of this investment? If a politician is taking a decision, he asks only one question: will my decision be popular? If a lawyer is taking a decision, he always asks whether it is balanced, equitable, and justice. If a coward is taking a decision, he always asks about whether it is safe. People of conscience will ask only one question: is it right? And once it is right, they go ahead to do it, damning the consequences, irrespective of who is involved. If these soldiers are resigning, as being reported, perhaps they are resigning out of being nationalistic and being conscious of what is happening, that they cannot continue to stomach the daily killings. People are dying in my own state. In 8 local governments of my own state, they are under siege. People are being killed by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, all year through. And we say we have government in power. And we say we have elected representatives in power. And we say we have an assembly in the state in power. And we have people of conscience all folding their arms, keeping silent, as if they could be called cowards.
But if you also, I don't know, you may need to clarify one or two things that you said, but add to that the fact that, there's this thread, this Twitter thread of the presidency in Nigeria, saying that available records in Southern Kaduna says that the Southern Kaduna enjoys comprehensive security deployments, including the Army, special forces of both Army and Air Force, and all of that, and added that from available security records, the problem in southern Kaduna is an evil combination of politically motivated banditry, revenge killings, and mutual violence by criminal gangs acting on ethnic and religious grounds. Do you agree with that? Do you think that is something valid?
It is valid to an extent, and anything is possible in the brand of democracy being operated in Nigeria. Why do I say so? It is a democracy based on inducement, based on bribery, based on corruption, based on man's inhumanity to man. If available resources are being used and deployed sincerely, honorably, judiciously, it will go around and people will have enough to keep them away from violence. But when a handful class of clique, cartel, and cabal hijack the entire economy, personalize people's common patrimony, and enjoy to the total exclusion of majority citizens, of course, there will be apprehension. Of course, violence will be the watchword, and violence will be the daily happiness. You can't stop that. In a country where people are living, more than 80% of Nigerians are living in abject poverty, in the midst of more than enough. When you hear billions of naira being spent, when you hear trillions of naira being spent, and you see people living in abject poverty in the midst of plenty, it means all is not well, and all will never be well until the wrongs are written.
I think that the states, are pulling their weight in this whole situation about curbing the security challenges that exist in different states. I mean, from where your perspective, for instance, in your states, from what you've seen, are they doing enough? Because they think that, look, we're doing what we can about this security situation. Especially sometimes they say, look, politicians are the ones trying to fuel some of these things. Does that make any sense to you?
It does a lot. And let me be quite specific on my own state, in Katsina State. If anybody claims he is doing his best, then the best is not enough. Not long ago, the governor, Right Honorable His Excellency, my brother Amin Bello Masari, openly admitted that he cannot look at the faces and the eyes of the people of Katsina State because he is feeling ashamed. He has failed to protect them. Chapter 2 of the Constitution clearly defined out why people come into governance and why there is even government in the first place. To protect lives, properties, and dignity of people. But when people are being killed like rats, when houses and properties are being burnt down, when women are being raped all over, gang raped all over, what is the honor there? That is the more reason why he should have resigned along with his own cabinet. He has admitted failure in spite of the fact that between June 2015 to June 2020, the state government squandered 52 billion naira in the name of security. Yet, insecurity is increasing. The more the amount of money is spent in Katsina State, the more the number of people killed, the more the number of people displaced, the more the number of people traumatized. This is the irony of spending such amount of money. Therefore, if they are doing best, if they are doing enough, that enough is not enough. They need to do more. People are distressed. People are displaced. People are angry. People cannot sleep. People have been displaced in Katsina. People are in absolute, total, complete fear 24 hours in a day. Some are gasping for oxygen. Their jugulars have been held prostrate. They have been asphyxiated. Their economy has been destroyed. And yet people expect that we will all keep quiet and remain cowards. Perish their own thoughts. We are not going to remain cowards. We will continue talking. Posterity will write and will record this government in Katsina State as the government that has failed people woefully and completely. It's a government that came on the slogan of fighting corruption, yet you can see corruption completely on two legs. Corruption in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the night, and at midnight. It is evidently clear that the issue of fighting corruption is not the priority of this government for now and for all times to come.
Well, given the nature of the security challenge in the state and in different parts of the country as well, for those governors who say, look, there's only so much that we can do because the military have got to stand up and be counted in this one. They just think that their hands are tied. So would that be a valid point to say, look, then it's up to the presidency to take that action and ensure that the service chiefs haven't given them the stern warning that they need to do much more than they've done before. So is it fair for them to say, look, it's up to the presidency. The state governors can only do as much?
No, see, you cannot pick people's money, continue to spend money in the name of security, and then when you fail woefully, you turn back and blame the federal government. Security is a collective responsibility involving everybody, all and sundry, the government, the governed, the security agencies. But where you find the state government spending money under every security pretext, yet the security is not there, it means all is not well, and everybody must look at their own eyes and tell them the truth. They are not willing to hear the truth. They are not willing to listen. They see everybody as an enemy. If you don't want to be criticized, if you don't want anybody to make a valid observation on you, please resign. Democracy, the moment you offer yourself for a public office, it means you have made your secret and personal file public for everybody to scrutinize. We have the right to ask questions as to how our monies, common patrimonies, and our resources, and our lives, and our properties are being managed or mismanaged. If they are being mismanaged, we will continue to find out, we will continue to shout, we will continue to talk. Nobody can silence us into silence. Nobody can make us keep quiet. We will continue to talk. All is not well in Katsina State. We are just being deceived. Documents available have shown that it is just a distribution spree. The moment money comes in through FAC allocation by the month, you could see how they feast on the money, especially the money for the local government. Recent discovery has shown that the moment money comes in, after local government salary, local government staff salary, and teacher salary, the next deduction is that of deducting 5% as provided by law to the two emirates in Katsina. There are 34 local governments. 29 local governments fall under Katsina Emirate Council and 5 under Dora. Official documents have shown that in the last 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, over 1.8 billion naira was deducted from the local government accounts of 29 local governments under Katsina Emirate Council, which is supposed to be remitted to Katsina Emirate. But available bank documents have shown that only a fraction, negligible fraction of that money was remitted by the state government to the Emirate Council account. Similarly, also in Dora, over 893 million naira was deducted from local governments that are under the Dora Emirates, 5 of them, and a fraction of that, negligible fraction of that, was remitted to the Emirate. This money allocated to the Emirate is meant for the welfare of the subjects under that Emirate.
Well, Mr. Mahdi, this conversation has begun and we continue to make these issues on and on. The thing about this is that it is troubling that despite every action that everyone is taking, things seem to be going like this. Is there any role that you think the people in these communities can play to stem the tide of insecurity?
It is persistent because we are living in denial. In every society you go to, in every community, we know and they know. They know exactly who are the vandals, who are the criminals, who are the bandits, who are the kidnappers. They are someone else's children, they are someone else's husbands, they are someone else's brothers, they are someone else's uncles. These criminals are in our own midst. But We are lacking in the courage, in the guts, and in the audacity to tell the security agencies that these are the people involved. This is where the community has failed woefully. On the part of the security agencies, if you have security outfits they are competing in animosity. Some of them don't even see eye to eye. They don't share intelligence. They are envious of each other. There is no way in such a situation where security of lives and properties will be enhanced and will be guaranteed. On the part of government, rather than spending money, state governments are spending monies for their own personal.
Well, as it is now, Senator, the way it's turned out, yes, as a result of what the Senate has now resolved in line with the National Assembly. So perhaps I should even ask Mr. Mahdi of this now. Haven't seen where we are, even though we'll try and get Ms. Additional to clarify and find out what can be the next step for the president. Everybody knows that they're all asking, let them bow and go. If that doesn't happen, what options do you think will be left with Mr. Mahdi first?
Well, I advise that Mr. President should think wisely, act wisely, behave wisely, and listen to the clarion call of the Senate, the clarion call of the House of Representatives, and the clarion call of the larger society that there is a total disenchantment, there is a total resentment, there is pain going on in the way and manner the security agencies have failed woefully in checkmating this menace of killing, maiming, kidnapping, arson all over the country. There is no state where there is no presence of military now in the country. It is an indication that all is not well. Ignoring or taking time to act will only prove perilous. And time will tell that ignoring these calls, wishing these calls away, will not augur well for the larger society and for continuous existence of Nigeria in peace.